We've got an awesome lineup. It's our first episode of 2021, and we are going to focus on one question, as you know. What does the modern media plan look like in 2021? So we're going to kick things off with Andrea Brimmer. Andrea is the Chief Marketing and Public Relations Officer at Ally Financial, where she leads a team of 150 disruptive marketers. Since then, Ally's brand has doubled in value every year since she launched the new promise in 2016. And so over those 3 years, they've been celebrating Ally's promise, do it right. Welcome, Andrea.
Thank you, Andrea. Appreciate being here. Hey, Gary.
How are you? So many Andreas.
I know, right? I've never been around so many Andreas at once.
So, Andrea, first of all, how's your new year going? How you feeling? What's cooking?
I am feeling good, Gary. I feel, yesterday was just a good day for our country. I feel like a good amount of peace and,
ready to rock and roll.
The new year and ready to rock and roll.
So let's get right into it because, we have a lot of entrepreneurs. We have a lot of Fortune 500 companies. So we're going to try to break this down a little bit. But I think what's real, and I love the dog in the background. Don't worry about that. It's perfect. It's exactly how I want it.
Sorry.
What does the modern media plan look like? And actually, I'm going to take 1 second to help the viewers. The comms planning, like where are you going to put your money to make the thing that you want to happen? For entrepreneurs, you're kind of doing that on a wheel. For big co's, Andrea will go into that in a second. And, there's a lot, you hire a media agency, they plan, but I think the landscape, Andrea, I think we can agree is changing so quickly. And kind of when you watch Mad Men years ago, the TV department just gets stood up, right? It's TV, print, outdoor, radio, go to sleep.
Right.
Then there's this thing called internet. But then my life's work realizes that's like saying oxygen. There's a million things in there. When you hear the question that we're doing today, what does the modern media plan look like? What does that come across to you as? And one last time before you answer, I see you all in the comments, Michael Lynn, Charlotte Nicole, Jeff Hotch. I see you on all the different platforms. Please hit Twitter hard with your questions and observations using hashtag marketing for the now, and we will try to incorporate you into the show. Andrea, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Gary. The way that we think about it is, I could really boil it into kind of 3 words that are guiding the way that I think about it and the way our team's thinking about it at Ally: dynamic, disruptive, and culturally astute. And when I think about dynamic, it's the point that it is ever changing. Like, you take last year as an example, nobody would have ever expected the unavailability of original production, the migration of audiences to new platforms, the importance of things like gamification versus, linear TV. And a marketer that's not prepared for that, that constantly shifting atmosphere and just sets it and forgets it, is really missing where audiences are going. So that idea of dynamic is really critically important.
Do you feel like you have that in place? Like when you think, I think this is, and this is a community, especially today's question, going to help a lot of the community that you sit in, these incredibly important CMOs and operators. I have a lot of compassion, right? I know this ecosystem now after, a decade and a half. Yeah. The media planning capabilities, structure, and to be frank, the objectives of the media agencies for their own margin, and I have empathy for their businesses. I'm in that business, though we come from a different angle, really challenge flexibility. A lot of those companies have major deals with platforms and networks that they have to, I made a promise to NBC. I'm going to make sure that Ally runs a little bit more commercial, and I'm going to justify. That's real talk now, and I want to get to the real crux. Do you feel incredible about the flexibility, or is that a 500-pound gorilla that's hard to move just so people can get a read of how challenging this actually? It sounds easy for all the small business and entrepreneurs that are listening. That's all they know. It's actually stunningly hard for big companies like yours.
Yeah, it is. I think the advantage is that we've always had this scrappy challenger mentality. And we've always projected that ethos, and we've tried to reflect it in terms of the way that we've planned media. Look, I'd be lying to you if I didn't say that there's always going to be this compendium of planning that will have a level of consistency, right? You're going to buy your broadcast with a level of consistency. You're going to go into the upfronts, and that's what you're going to have, and you're going to plan against certain kinds of media, but you have to remain flexible and in a perpetual state of motion, because you not only can you not predict what's going to happen throughout the year, you also can't predict where audiences are going to go. And I just take last year as a great example. We always keep a pot of money for optimization. People like my CFO crazy sometimes, where she's like, why do you have all this fluidity in your plan? I need more predictability. But we have to have it because you have to go where your consumers are going. One of the big places we moved last year was into gaming. People home. And we created an island on Animal Crossing. We did a ton around gamification. That wasn't anything that we could have seen at the beginning of the year. And if we didn't have the ability to push for that flexibility, and I think to your point, Gary, one of the things that we changed in terms of the way that we measure our agency partners, especially MediaCom, who's our media agency, is around creativity and media. And that becomes part of the KPIs that drive them. And I think that's where you get that tension between that long-term plan and I've got to be creative because I've got more to gain if I bring that creativity.
These are shotgun interviews, so we have 3 minutes. Andrea, when I say to you, what channel has your attention, either has already been incorporated into your media plan or is brewing in your mind as a leader and will then think about, okay, let's really try to test this year so it's a bigger part of our 2022. Is there any platforms, and this could be in any it doesn't have to be the internet, like, is there anything brewing in that brilliant mind that has you like, look what's going on over at Clubhouse, or hey, I think print is back, baby. Like, is there anything brewing in your mind?
What's the most interesting medium to me right now? Honestly, I mean, there's all the obvious ones, but outdoor. We have done some really interesting things in outdoor, and there's some incredible creativity that's happening there. And I think it gives you an opportunity to have a big stage.
Are the prices way down since people are in? Like, when I hear outdoor, I mean, the amount of travel people, like the macro travel is collapsed. And so billboard, I think of like how many people are not on the road that saw billboards that are now just not on the road. Has the pricing become super attractive in that world?
I don't even think about outdoor and just that. Like, I think about digital outdoor. I think about over the holidays, we projected the 20 best moments of the year on buildings around the country. I mean,
point still taken though. I assume common sense driving. People are just in their homes. We have a global pandemic. Are the prices adjusting or
they're adjusting a little bit? But you'd be surprised at the interaction. People just want to get out of their house, even if they're just walking around. So it's an interesting medium, and we've done.
But real quick, because I'm fascinated by this. If everything went phenomenal, you'd have to expect on the greatest day ever, you're going to get 50% of as many people that would have saw those things on the building, let's say in 2018.
Yep.
My curiosity, not even anything else, is, that thought, like, you can't, I agree people want to get out of their house, but like, I live in Manhattan. There's a lot more people indoor, and I look at everything, I think that's an interesting take.
Yeah. I mean, I think about it in terms of, as we start to plan coming out of this pandemic and the creativity that's there and the new things that you can do with the medium that have never been available to you before, and the ability to put the brand on a big stage. Everybody's rushing to the same things right now: gamification, digital, those social platforms, et cetera. But as we get into the spring and we kind of get out from under this pandemic, people that are taking chances on those kinds.
Actually, we ran out of time. This is such a pleasure already, but it's great to see you. Continued success.
Thanks, Gary. See ya.